If you live in Juarez, you're probably already familiar with the salty and brownish water supply at home. If you live in El Paso, expect to face these same issues within the next 3 years. It won't happen all at once. You won't wake up to a sudden shortage of water. Instead, you'll gradually notice the changes. Your hair becoming drier, your skin feeling itchier, and your sinks showing signs of oxidation. The root of the problem lies in the deteriorating state of the Hueco Mesilla Bolson aquifer, a critical water source upon which both cities depend.
The water resource is one of the most important aspects of the U.S.-Mexico border. And there's so much talk about other aspects that we kind of ignored this very important aspect.
As a result, brackish water is seeping into our freshwater reservoirs, compromising the quality of the water we use every day. This crisis is exacerbated by a stark lack of cooperation among all governing parties. The states of New Mexico and Texas, along with Mexico's federal government, have escalated their competition over water extraction from these aquifers. Each entity acts on its own interests, depleting the water quality and affecting all citizens of the region. And as these governmental entities navigate this fraught terrain, it is the communities who suffer the most. Nowhere is this more visible than in Anapra, where residents endure severe consequences of these failed policies.
Is that one area of town is getting undrinkable salt water.
In a clear race to the bottom for water resources, the situation is compounded by corruption and short-sighted policies. In 2010, the Ciudad Juarez Water Administration, JAMAS, constructed a pipeline designed to support the urban expansion of the city. However, this pipeline conspicuously bypasses the Anapra community, diverting water instead to the legally recognized neighborhoods and the industrial zones on the west side of Juarez. This situation only perpetuates an ongoing environmental and social injustice. For the last 2 decades, JAMAS has charged the residents of Anapra for what they claim is potable water, despite its unsuitability for consumption. The water, heavily concentrated with salt and dissolved solids like arsenic, poses serious health risks, particularly impairing cognitive development in children. In response to these deplorable conditions, the Anapra community has risen in protest.
In the lawsuit, the group of residents is asking for 40 billion Mexican pesos from the Water Board. That's about $2.3 million.
Initially, La Comisión Nacional de Derechos Humanos acknowledged the residents' complaints, noting the water's strong salty taste and smell, and requested a water analysis from the Comisión Nacional del Agua. However, in an example of bureaucratic inefficiency, the Comisión Nacional del Agua deferred the testings back to JAMAS.
Dictámenes a la Comisión Nacional del Agua, los cuales no pudieron realizarlos, pero los remitieron a la misma Junta Municipal del Agua.
Predictably, the results declared by JAMAS found that despite elevated levels of dissolved solids, sodium, and sulfates exceeding consumption standards, the water was still deemed potable. The transparency and validity of these findings are highly questionable, as the testing was overseen by the very institution responsible for the water's condition. This represents yet another hurdle in the Anapra community's 2-decade-long struggle to secure genuinely potable water in their homes. The reality faced by the Anapra community is an example for other areas across the border. Although not yet as severe elsewhere, a study has shown that neighborhoods in El Paso and Las Cruces, particularly those at high risk of waterborne diseases due to inadequate plumbing, are predominantly the poorest communities. As time progresses, the region continues to deplete its water resources in an irreversible manner, exacerbating the hardships faced by more citizens along the border. In 2017, scientists predicted that high-quality water supplies will be exhausted within a decade. Now, 7 years later, there has been no significant progress toward governmental cooperation. Without immediate and unified action, the future looks increasingly bleak for all of us who depend on this vital resource.